This conference will now be recorded.
So guys, let's start with, so we just created some, if we go to our schema, we created tables, a couple of tables, sorry, 4 tables we created. So we created triggers yesterday, we created a database views, we created sequences. Okay, so now, I go into the major concept of this HANA SQL, so that is stored procedures. So before I go into the stored procedures, I just have to give you some insights of this select query. Okay, how the select query works. So what are the what we say? So today we focus majorly on the select statements because we should be the masters of select statements. The reason is generally we create HANA models, and the major what we say the major usage of HANA modeling is reading the data, and that reading happens through select queries, right? So just focus on let's focus on the select statement now. So this is our major statement, guys. So okay, this got some clauses. Okay, I give you. So what are the clause we have in this select clause? So the select clause is used for okay selecting columns. Then we got is from clause. So this from clause is used for, so you can select the tables from which we can select the data, select the columns. Okay. Then we got something like, so these are the clause we have as part. So these clauses are very important for us because we're going to use them in our scenarios like script based calculation. These are the clause, these are the things we use in a script based calculation. So this where clause is used for filtering the data. So then we have is group by clause. So this group by clause is used for aggregation aggregation of data. I show you how the aggregation of data happens. Aggregation by group. So then we have is having clause. So this having clause is used for filtering aggregated columns. Then we got limit clause. This limit clause is used for restricting, or I can say like this, limiting number of rows into output. Then we got a concept of offset. Just a minute, please.
Hello.
Hey guys, sorry, actually I got some office call. Right. I'll come. So where we stop, so we are focusing on offset clause. So this offset clause is like a deviation. Okay. So these are the major clause we have. So order having, okay, then order by clause is not. So we got another clause called order by clause. So this order by
Hello.
clause is used for sorting the data.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello, sir.
Santosh. Yes,
Sir, when is actually class starts actually? At 8 a.m. start అవుతుంది class.
it was 7:40 అట్లా స్టార్ట్ అయింది.
ఓకే ఓకే. అంటే 9:30 అంటే రోజు ఈ టైం స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందా లేకపోతే
నాకు ఆఫీస్ వర్క్ ఉంటుంది సంతోష్. నాకు కొంచెం నేను చెప్పలేను మీటింగ్స్ ఎప్పుడు క్లోజ్ అవుతారు. సో 6:45కి అయిపోవాలి, బట్ సమ్ టైమ్స్ డ్రాగ్ అవుతుంది. అందుకని 7:30 మధ్యలో స్టార్ట్ అవుతుంది.
Can we put a time then? మీరు 7, even 7 కొంచెం grace period పెట్టుకుని, why don't you start around 7:30 or something like that?
అంటే మళ్ళీ నాకు పద్మ కొంచెం ఇష్యూ ఉంటుందండి. నాకు ఈవినింగ్ బ్యాచెస్ ఏంటంటే, సో మై వర్క్ అనేది ఒక్కొక్కసారి 7:45 8కి కూడా వెళ్ళిపోతుంది, ఒకసారి 6కి అయిపోతుంది. సో యాక్చువల్లీ యూ డోంట్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ మీ, ఐల్ గివ్ ఎ టెక్స్ట్. సో ఒక 10 minutes ముందే టెక్స్ట్ చేస్తాను, సో దట్ యూ కెన్ బి రెడీ అట్లా.
Okay. అంటే
10 minutes. సో ఇఫ్ మై మీటింగ్ ఈస్ డన్, సో నాకు ఎనీవే ఒక 10 minutes ఒక బ్రేక్ అట్లా తీసుకుని స్టార్ట్ చేసుకునేలాగా ఒక 10 minutes ముందే మీకు నేను చెప్పేస్తాను. అది యాక్చువల్లీ ఏంటంటే మై యూరోపియన్ ఐ వర్క్ ఫర్ యూరోపియన్ క్లయింట్. సో వాళ్ళు యాక్చువల్లీ ఏంటంటే 6:30కి అయిపోవాలి షెడ్యూల్, బట్ ఈ ఆన్ సైట్ కాల్స్ ఉంటాయి లేదా సమ్ మేనేజరల్ మీటింగ్స్ అండ్ ఈ వర్క్ ఫ్రమ్ హోమ్ వచ్చిన కాడి నుంచి లైక్ సో ఇంకా there was a double load on my head actually.
I know.
సో
ఓకే సార్. మీకు అంటే మీకు కంఫర్టబుల్ ఉన్నప్పుడు చెప్పండి, ఆ టైంకి వస్తుంది, నో ప్రాబ్లం.
నో యాక్చువల్లీ నాకు 7 PM ఈజ్ కంఫర్టబుల్ టైం. అంటే ఈ వీక్ కొంచెం డిలేస్ ఉన్నాయి, బట్ నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ నుంచి నార్మల్. అంటే సో ద స్ప్రింట్ అంటే జనరల్లీ నాకు 3 weeks స్ప్రింట్స్ ఉండేది. సో లాస్ట్ వీక్ ఈజ్ వెరీ క్రిటికల్ ఫర్ us. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద లాస్ట్ వీక్. సో మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్ 2 weeks ఐ విల్ బి వెరీ ఫ్రీ. మళ్ళీ 1 week కొంచెం క్రిటికల్ ఇష్యూస్ ఉంటాయి అట్లా. సో డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ ద టైం ఫ్రేమ్ వి వర్క్. ఓకే, సో మేబీ నెక్స్ట్ వీక్
ఓకే.
విల్ బి కంప్లీట్లీ ఐల్ స్టార్ట్ బై 7 PM.
ఇంతకుముందు టెక్స్ట్ పెట్టారు కదా వాట్సాప్ లో, ఇప్పుడు పెట్టట్లే, అందుకే అడిగాను.
I forgot today.
ఓకే సార్.
Right, just open your bridge and sit down. So what happens? And you do your work in the meantime. So whenever I connect, you can see my voice. You can hear my voice come. So you can open the bridge even before I connect, right? So and you start doing your normal practice work.
ఓకే.
Okay. So these are the clauses we have. So these are very important for us, especially when we create some script-based calculation. And Hana, we got this script-based calculation concept. So I'm just writing some data. So let's use these clauses. So let's write some data into this tables, this billing table where I can use it. Okay, this is your stuff, right? Okay, now let's change I to Hyderabad. I'm just writing more data so I can write this select statement queries. I'm writing two more records. Okay, so this is the data I got in this table. So 11 records you have, billing ID, product. Okay, now we write it. So this is the data we have in this table. Okay, so I say now select writing this select clause. Okay, you can say select star from. So star means it will pick all the columns from building table. If you want to see the data from this building table, select star from building table. Star means it will pick all the columns. If you want to pick only some selective columns, you can write them. So in this, I just want to pick only product, store, and revenue. Okay, if I just want only select product, comma, store, comma, items, comma, so and revenue. So if you write only these columns, it will pick only these 4 columns data from into the output. Okay, it will so it will read these 4 columns data into the output. So let's execute. So now we don't see the billing ID here. So in the same statement, okay. So if I write, okay, now I write so where store equal to Hyderabad. If I just go with an option called where store is Hyderabad. Okay, now you can see the data as so you see only the 6 records where store is Hyderabad. Okay, if you want to select multiple columns, okay, so you can write like this also. Let's say select Control C. So where store instead of Hyderabad. If you want to select both Hyderabad and Bangalore, where store is in Hyderabad, so now it will pick both. So like that you can write if you want to pick a multi-value filter. So this you have to write the in function. Okay, so now it will give you all the 11 columns. So you can use this also where I can say items okay, greater than or something like less than or equal to 4. So pick me the values where items is less than or equal to less than or equal to 4. So now you see the data only when items is 2, 3, and 4. You don't see now 5, 6, 7, 8 like that. Okay, so you can use this greater than, less than, equal to, between, not between, these kind of functions also. Okay, so and you can go with the complex filters. Complex filters in the sense, okay, where if you're filtering on multiple columns, we call it as a complex filters. I say where store is equal to Hyderabad and items. Okay, items is less than or equal to 4. So now pick only store Hyderabad and items less than or equal to 4. I see only 3 records. Or in the same case, if I use the OR condition instead of and, if I use OR condition, it will pick if any one has to be satisfied. If either store is Hyderabad. Okay, so in this manner we can use this complex filters. Okay, where we use select clause, from clause, where clause. Okay, then I go with something like group by clause. I say now select product, comma. So what I do is I now say summation of instead of product, let's go with store. Select store, comma, summation of items, summation of revenue from billing table, and here now I say group by store. So group by store, so it will show the summation of items. If you want to see the summation of items as you want, you can provide an alias name also. I can say it is total items and summation of revenue as total revenue, and say group by store. Let's execute. So now you see the total items. It will make a summarization when store is Bangalore. Okay, you see the revenues now like this. Okay. So not only summation guys here. So I take summation of revenue items with, whereas I say something like count. Instead of summation, I make a count. So how many records you have, you can see now, let's say. So you have 5 records, count is 5 records for Bangalore and 6 records for Hyderabad. So you can make a count. Or instead of count also, you can give it as something like max revenue or minimum revenue. So now this is the maximum revenue for a Bangalore store. For every, and this is the maximum revenue generated based on a transaction. Okay. So now, so this is how the group by function works. And then, okay, now in the same scenario, what I do is Control C. If I say select store, comma, I select now product also. Okay, so now if I execute this statement, it will throw out an error because product is there in the select output. So how it should be fitting in here, right? So in that case, we have to select with group by product and store comma product. If you execute now, so for Hyderabad, product Y, total items is 25, maximum revenue is 956. So same X for, actually I written uppercase X and lowercase x. Okay, so oh my god, okay, this is a mistake made by me. So generally it should be like, it should add these two and show it as total items is 6 and max revenue is 984. Same with Bangalore, X, 2X you have, and Y this is 1. So now the summation is happening based on product and store. Okay, so this group by functionality is used for this part. Okay, now, so I just go with the having clause. So what is the use of a having clause means? The having clause is used for filtering the aggregated columns. I say now having, I say it as having maximum of revenue greater than not 500. I just gave it something like 700. So show me the values only when maximum of revenue is greater than 700. So first it will create this max, first it will make the aggregation, and then it will filter it out. Where clause, first it will filter and go for an aggregation way, but whereas having clause, it is used for filtering the aggregated columns. So now you see the values only when maximum revenue is greater than 700. Clear everyone? So the where clause and having clause, where clause, having clause, group by clause. Okay. So these are some functionalities we have. Okay, now let's go with order by. Order by, you know, it's simply used for sorting the data. So this is just used for sorting out the data. I pick the statement controls. I say now order by. So let's say order by revenue. So if you say ASC, it's ascending order. If you just don't give anything, the RD is also simply take it as ascending order. If you don't mention anything, it simply takes the revenue in an ascending order. So I can see the revenue in an ascending order completely. So if you want to see the same revenue in a descending order, so let's say DES. Now you see the values in a descending order. So the order by is used for sorting the data. So these are some columns. So now I go with the concept of limit. Okay. So limit. So limit is used for limiting the number of rows in output. So this is used for limiting the number of rows into output. I say. So order by descending order, revenue in the descending order. I say now limit. Limit is 3, so it will show only the top 3 rows. So if you execute this statement, see here. So now if you execute with limit, it will show only the top 3 rows where revenue is 999, 984 and 956. So here if I just say limit 3, it will limit your output to only the top 3 rows. Okay, if I say limit 5, it will limit to 5. It will show the top 5 rows. Okay. So limiting the number of rows into output, that is the use of a limit functionality. And then you got a concept of offset also. If I say limit 3, offset 2. Offset is deviation. Generally, if you give limit 3, it will show first, second, and third rows. If you give offset 2, instead of showing 1, 2, and third row, it will offset and it will deviate first and second and show 3, 4th, and 5th rows in output. Here, guys, if I go with only limit 3, the number of rows you see in the output is 999, 984, and 956. Now, if you see offset 2, this will not be shown, this will not be shown. It will start from 956 and it will show the remaining next 2 rows. Okay, so now you see third row, fourth row, and fifth row when it comes to the descending order. Okay, so offset is like a deviation. So this is the use of a limit and offset functionality. Okay, so these are the clauses we have. Guys, recently there was a small question asked in an interview. So they just to test the SQL abilities of a Hi. So the question asked is like this. Okay. So I'm having an employee table.
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so I got an employee table. So I'm just this was a question recently asked in some one interview. Okay, some of my colleague faced this. So I just tell you it's a very simple question. The answer is also very simple. Don't think high. So the answer is in the clauses what we given. So so the question asked was there was an employee. This is a certification question also actually. So we got an employee table with employee ID and employee salary. Okay. So write a statement to get employee with second highest salary. So the question is, so write an SQL statement, okay, to get the employee with second highest salary. Okay, so you can do one thing. Maybe you just take it like exercise. You can write the statement and so use the chat box. So I'll check in the chat box. Okay, so we got an employee table. Maybe if they ask you the schema, so schema is Hana 52. Suppose schema is okay. Hana. Okay, table is employee table. Maybe for better statement. So they got a schema Hana, table is employee table, and columns. Columns are employee ID and employee salary. So just write a statement to show the employee details with second highest salary. Okay, I'm just giving you a couple of minutes time so you can write and share it in the chat box. So I'll check. You can use the clauses which I used today. Share it in the chat box. Okay, you can your statement, please. So you can take a couple of minutes. Okay, so it's simple answer, guys. A lot of people came near, but simple. So I can say simple. Select employee ID and same or employee salary. Hana schema or something like this. I'm just writing a full statement. Okay. Employee table. Order by employee salary. Descending order. So that you said that you get the top. So limit is 1. Because I need only employee with second highest salary, right? It's only one employee. So I need only one row into the output. And offset is again 1. Because it will deviate the employee with first highest salary and it will pick the employee with second highest salary. Order by will get you all the employees in the descending salaries in the descending order. So if you limit 1, so only one row into output. If you offset 1, instead of picking the first row, it will pick the second row. So you get employee details with second highest salary. This is one way where you can use min-max functions also, but this is the easiest way of picking the things. Okay, so this is about select query. So we use these clauses these are very important, whatever I taught you, especially when I write some script-based models. So I stop here for today with select queries. So the next class, what we do is we focus heavily on the stored procedures. So this procedures is very important actually. It will take 2 days for me to complete these procedures. So the only topic left over is stored process. We'll complete the stored process in the next class. Procedures and column views. Okay, so these all things we're gonna cover it. Right, I stop here for today. Thank you.
Sir,
So the next class will be on Monday. The next class
Yesterday's session
will
was
be from Monday.